Learn how to make a robe without a sewing pattern. This robe has pockets and a tie on the inside and on the outside, and some simple dropped shoulder sleeves. You will need 3 or more yards of jersey fabric with at least 40% stretch. A spandex blend knit fabric will have the best recovery. The first thing you're going to do is lay out your fabric and fold it down the middle with the selvages meeting on the sides and the fold in the center of the fabric. Find the measurement of your widest part, like your shoulders, bust, or hips. Divide that measurement by 3/4, and that will be the width of the back of your robe. Now you need to divide that amount in half to get the back measurement when you cut it out on the fold. Measure from the fold the measurement you found and cut. Cut it the length you want from your shoulder to your knee or your calf. Now you will cut out 2 front pieces, and they will not be cut on the fold. You need to do the same length that you did for the back piece, and then each front piece will also be 3/4 of your widest part, like the original measurement we found for the back of the robe. You will cut that out, 2 pieces that are each 3/4 of your measurement. Now, using any scrap fabric or the remainder of your fabric, you need to cut the neck band, which goes from the hem of the robe all up the front around your neck and back down the other side. So it should measure 4 inches across for the width, and the length should be twice the height of the length of the robe. You will need to cut a triangle out of the center front of the robe pieces. I have my pieces on top of each other with wrong sides together, and it is a cut edge on the center. I will cut out a triangle, and this will be the neckline. I did a small amount in this video, but I recommend cutting in 3 to 6 inches and then cutting down 12 inches or more to cut out a large triangle, which will make the robe nice to wear because the fabric will be cut out from the neckline. For the sleeves, you will need to cut 2 pieces of fabric that measure 20 inches across and about 14 inches long. This makes a pretty wide sleeve, but it looks nice with the dropped shoulder look of the robe. Next, you will cut out 2 pockets, and I recommend they be 8 inches tall and 6 inches wide. Line up the front and the back pieces of the robe along the top shoulder edge with right sides together. That triangle neck piece that you cut out should be the center top of what we're looking at. So I'm pinning the shoulder pieces together along the top, and you will sew both of the shoulders together with right sides together and a zigzag stitch or a serger at 3/8 inch seam allowance. With right sides together, sew 2 of the short ends together along your neck band with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Now you will fold your neckband in half long ways with the wrong sides together. I found my fabric was so large that it was easier for me to pin the whole neckband in half and then pin it to the front of the robe. Now that the neckband is pinned in place, you can pin it to the robe. The center of the neckband will be matched with the center back neckline of the robe. Then match the bottom of the neckband with the bottom front of the robe and pin in place. Pin the neckband along the front of the robe. Make sure that the neckband is not twisted when you are pinning it on. When you get to the neck and shoulder area, you will need to stretch the robe fabric to match the neckband. The neckband is a slightly smaller amount of fabric. This helps the neckband lie flat against your neck and upper chest. I like to stretch the larger fabric to match the smaller fabric and pin at the center and then pin at the center of the next area so that I can slowly distribute the fabric evenly. Once you have one side pinned to the back neck, you will do the same to the other side of the front of the robe. Next, you're going to sew the sleeves onto the robe. Take a sleeve piece and fold it in half. That center is what will line up with the shoulder seam of the robe. With right sides together, pin the sleeve onto the shoulder area of the robe. Pin the other sleeve onto the other shoulder with the center of the sleeve lining up with the shoulder seam, and then sew with a zigzag or a serger at a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Next, you will sew the side seams of the robe. Match up the sides of the robe, the front and the back, with right sides together, and then match up the sides of the sleeve with right sides together. Pin along the edge so that it is all lined up. Then sew with a zigzag or a serger at 3/8 inch seam allowance. Turn your robe right side out. Now you will edge stitch along the front neckband of the robe. You will be sewing the seam allowance towards the body of the robe and away from the neckband. I use a straight stitch on my sewing machine, and I start at one hem and I go all the way around, up around the neck and down to the other side of the bottom of the robe. Cut 4 pieces of ribbon or string or anything you'd like to use for your ties, 8 inches long. Make sure you cut 4. Then put your robe on and decide where you want the ties to be attached to your robe. They should be at your waist with two at center front, one on the outside at your waist on the side of the robe, and one on the inside of your robe at the side seam. With a straight stitch, sew the ribbon edges onto the robe. Last of all, take your pocket pattern pieces and fold all 4 sides in at 1/2 inch. Pin it onto the robe near the side seam on the thigh of the robe. Sew 3 sides of the pocket with a straight stitch. I didn't hem the top of my pocket, the sleeves, or the bottom of the robe because I wanted an unfinished, unhemmed look. You can choose to hem your pocket, sleeves, and the bottom of the robe if you prefer. Thank you for watching my video. Please like it and follow my channel for lots more sewing projects.